Good day, family. Welcome again to another video. And as always, thank you so much for tuning in. Really appreciate it. Now, as you may know, and for some of you anyway, if you're brand new to this platform, first of all, welcome. When it comes to politics, we will talk about it from time to time on this platform, but I've made it very clear when it comes to choosing a side, on if you're going to go with the Democrats or the Republicans or the Green Party and all of that, we don't support any of them. Okay, just to make that very clear. What I do, I guess my way of giving back, to the general population is really trying to educate people on the issues, on the facts. What are the things that really matter, at the end of the day? And what you will find is that when it comes to the left versus the right versus the center, all of these different sides, when it comes to American politics, and I would say politics all over the world, it's not a push-pull that you think it is. I mean, at the end of the day, it's businesses, it's corporations. For goodness sake, United States is in of itself a corporation. It's an Inc. You understand what I'm saying? So it's businesses, it's the people that have the money at the end of the day, from day one to even now, that control the destiny of this country. I know you've been fed all these different stories about how because you got out there and you yelled and screamed and and all of that, it caused some dramatic change to happen. It caused the people that have the money and the big decision makers to look outside their windows and all of a sudden like, oh my God, are they going to come in here next? Oh my goodness, they're going to destroy my little office. No, they were not worried then and they're not worried now. Many of those famous protests and sit-ins and stand-ins and study-ins that you have read about and romanticized about for years and years were in fact already co-opted by the people who make the decisions in this country. Now, I know that maybe I'm not doing a too good of job of giving you and inspiring any kind of hope. And what can I do? I don't like listening to people like this because you're messing up my dream. You're messing up the American dream because the American dream is about us. It's not. Okay, so it's time to wakey, time to wake up. No, that's not it at all. This is just what's been handed to us, and we have to do the best we can with what we have. Now, does that mean you sit back and say nothing? It doesn't mean that you just don't get involved in anything? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. I mean, you can make your voice heard. There are strategic things that you as an individual can do to make a difference locally. Now, when it comes to things on a more national level and even international level, those are things that quite honestly are pretty much out of your hand. You think I'm lying? Think maybe I'm making things up. Well, how did your vote, let me ask it this way. Did they consult with you with all the billions of dollars they've been sending over to Ukraine? Did they sit down with you? Did you get the memo about going over there and sitting down with them and saying, hey, listen, okay, I know you're asking for a billion, but maybe we can come halfway. Were you part of that? Because if you were, I think we need to have a discussion here because that was a very bad decision you made. Well, it wasn't you, right? You didn't make that choice. You didn't make that decision. Well, it's the same thing for everything else in this country. And when it comes to the major decisions that are being made. And this is just the honest truth. And we have to be honest with that. So this whole notion of cheering for one side or the other side, at the end of the day, it makes for good entertainment. It makes for good exercise. It makes the population feel as if they are getting involved in making a change. But in reality, as my screen went out and I'm back here, but in reality, at the end of the day, no, that's just not what's happening. And I, for one, refuse to tell this generation and future generations to tell them that if you scream loud enough, if you protest enough, if you do this or that, maybe, just maybe, you'll be able to change the minds of the people who are really the ones in charge and are making the real decisions. I'm not going to do that, and I'm not going to contribute any more to the lie. But what I will do is do my part to show people like yourself on the practical things, the everyday things that you can do to make your life a lot better, and to improve your life and to enjoy this life. That's what I'm going to focus on. But it's been interesting, especially this past week, to sit back and to watch black folks, and many of Biden had a horrible showing at the at the debate. And since then, his party has been in fake panic mode. As I've already said, it's not as if they didn't know Biden was having problems. Please, his White House knew, the party knew, the whole nation knew. But all of a sudden, I guess everyone's got their little schedule on when they're supposed to hit the panic button and go, oh my God, panic. And everyone's right on cue all of a sudden, or just noticing that Biden is got little issues there. Now, I'm be honest with you, I can't be but so hard on Biden because he's an older man. I mean, he's 81 years old, I believe. So it's not a whole lot of activity I would expect someone of his age to do. But when it comes to running a country, I don't expect that. And that's not just for him or any other president. If you think that one person is controlling every aspect of the government, then that shows that what they have been selling you is actually working. You're believing it. You think Obama was controlling every aspect of government? You think he was making those decisions on what country to bomb versus what country not to bomb? Or maybe he was sitting down with the Federal Reserve and telling them when to raise up the interest rates or to lower them. You think Obama was a part of that? No, he wasn't. There's people that we don't vote for are the ones that are making those decisions. People like Obama, Bush, Trump, or even in this case, Biden. They're just figureheads. They're there to make you feel as if your decision actually made a difference in their choices. And their job is, for the 4 years that they're in office, or even 8, is to make you feel that you are somewhat in control of all of this. And their responsibility is to convince you that every decision that this person that you elected, it's because of you. It's you. And to convince you that, yeah, that's right. We're part of this. It's all of us. It's not you. They just make you feel as if, you're part of it. And their responsibility is to make you feel good about it. Obama or Bush or Trump bombs a country, you're supposed to feel good about it. Because that's my president. That's the person I elected. Or at least make some excuse as to why they made those choices. That's what the media does. That's what the PR departments do. That's what Hollywood does. And the other thing that they're responsible for is to sell you fear if you do not pull the lever for that party. Let me give you an example here. Now, Obama came up with did a movie recently talking about, it was this movie that he produced, it interwove all of these different things that the people on his side of the political spectrum have been selling people about the waters rising up and, the earth is getting hotter and all of this other stuff, right? Well, it's interesting because if all of that is true, if the oceans are rising up, and we're all in danger, then why did him and his wife buy a home, not just any home, an oceanfront home? Not just any oceanfront home, $120 million worth. Oh, $12 million. Sorry. $12 million oceanfront property. I thought the oceans were rising, though. Seems like he would have bought something in Kansas or Oklahoma at least. But it worked, didn't it? It made a good movie, didn't it? This is why it's important never to buy into the fear. The other thing is, if you watch the video that we did recently, we actually took a look at, because the next thing is that they're scaring all the people, especially black folks, Project 2025. Oh my God. Project 2025 is out to get you at any given moment. If Trump gets in office, oh my God, Project 2025 is going to get us. It's going to get all of us. Well, we took a look at Project 2025. And to sum it up, what it really means, Project 2025 is basically a policy that was drafted by the Heritage Foundation. Now, former President Trump has come out and it acknowledged that, hey, listen, I don't know anything about it. Is he lying? Who knows? I don't care. But this was something that was done by Heritage Foundation. So anyway, Project 2025 is basically a policy where they're looking at all the bureaucracy of the federal government. Because if you look at it now, consistently, the federal government has, when you look at the bureaucracy, that's all the employees, all the different departments, close, I think they said over 90% of the bureaucracy supports left-leaning candidates or left-leaning policy makers or, people to work in these different pockets of the bureaucracy, right? So you got a very high rate of people who tend to be left-leaning that's running DC. So what the Republicans did is said, hey, let's get together. Let's come up with our own policy where we're going to change that narrative. And instead of them running the bureaucracy, we're going to run it. And so that's pretty much in a nutshell what it is. So this is why they're like spoon feeding you all these little things. Oh my God, if they get in power, women ain't going to have any rights. And black people are going to go back to the prisons and all of this other stuff. They're spoon feeding you these little bits of fear and all of this other stuff. But at the end of the day, as we said in the video that we did when we went through it, is that both sides of the aisle are both controlled by the people who got the money, corporations. Washington, D.C., the United States of America it's a corporation. It's a business. You live in a business. You literally do. You live in a grand mall. That's where you live in. So next time you want to go to the mall, well, all you got to do is open your eyes, go outside because you're standing in one. Okay, you're standing in a mall and it's full with all kinds of people and all kinds of employees. That's right. All the tax money you're paying. Yep, that's what you're paying into the mall to make this mall even better, well, so to speak, right? And by the way, I just found out that the Ukrainians that are coming over now, they are eligible for SSI checks. That's right. So it doesn't matter which side is who's controlling DC. They're all controlled by the same people that you don't elect. And so it's been interesting this week to sit back and to watch how many black folks, political black folks, have been getting ginned up and scaring folks and telling people, hey, listen, we can't vote for Biden. We cannot vote for Trump. Whatever we do, we cannot get him in office. We can't let him in office no matter what. And so when I sit back and listen to how these people so passionately are defending this man, it's quite interesting. It reminds me of something. It actually reminds me of how our ancestors would make all kinds of excuses for Mr. and Mrs. They would get old, eventually. And then, people say, oh, hush now. Now Mr. Biden now, he's sleeping now. This is his sleeping hour now. Now, Mr. Biden ain't as sharp as he used to be. Mr. Biden now, he's tired right now. And, we got to do better to make sure we support Mr. Biden now. We know that it's cold out. So, doggone it, you should have thought about making sure that the fireplace is running. How dare you even think of anything less? Mr. Biden, poor Mr. Biden, we got to do our part. That's exactly what we're seeing right now. And I'm going to be honest, it's quite embarrassing. But at the same time, I have to sit back and say, is this going to be a more, because the political time, seasons like this, anytime they roll around, they're always so depressing. They are. And so droll and so whatever, because people just lose their minds. And so, what I wanted to do is to kind of make light of it. On one hand, yes, we're focusing on the things on this platform, the things that really matter to us as individuals. But at the same time, join me as we sit back and we actually take a look at these people who are really looking like fools, claiming to represent people like you and me. But let me tell you, they don't represent me. They can keep all of that. So I'm going to show you a short video that we kind of put together here, and you're going to see, I had to put some music to it. So let's take a listen at this. Check it out.
And I think of the goodness of Biden and all he has done for me. My soul cries out, hallelujah. I thank Joe for embracing me. I might be black, maybe ugly, and barely read, but it's just my emotions they really need. 'Cause I gave up my self-esteem a long time ago for a party of jackasses. In body I need no more. When I think of the goodness of Biden and all he has done for me, my soul cries out, hallelujah. I thank Joe for embracing me.
Y'all just tell me who the nominee is going to be. Let me know when you guys are finished fighting amongst yourselves who I got to vote for in November to keep Hitler out the White House. That's all I want to know. Who I got to vote for to keep Hitler out the White House. Y'all do your thing. Play in traffic all you want in front of these Republicans, acting a fool in front of these people instead of privately declaring your stuff. But don't text me no more, because I'm not taking no more of these texts. Just let me know when you guys are finished figuring it out, Democrats, because I know y'all the freak out people. Go ahead and freak out. Have your conversation, and then let me know who I got to vote for to keep Hitler out the White House. That's it. I'm done. Oh, and by the way, if it's Biden in a coma, I'm going to vote for Biden in a coma. I don't even really particularly like the guy. A lot of his policy, don't like him. He's not Donald Trump, right?
I mean, listen, I'm just going to add my 2 cents because I wasn't here on the day that y'all talked about it. I don't care if he's pooped his pants. I don't care if he can't put a sentence together. Show me he can't do the job, and then I'll say, okay, maybe it's time to go.
Let's understand something. I don't know why it is that you want to make an issue of the president and his condition with stammering and not being able at certain times to bring forth words.
I also was disturbed and felt as if the president had been overprepared and they had been running him ragged. And sometimes you have to tell your team, no, stop. I could tell that the president was constantly reaching for answers. He knows the answers to all these questions. So I was pretty shocked by both sides. More so the moderation as well as the president. I expected him to do better.
Should President Biden debate again?
I don't know.
I don't feel no waste time. I've come too far from where I started from. Nobody told me the road would be easy.
believe he brought me this far to leave me.
I said for anybody who's ever been discouraged, I don't feel no waste time.
Oh, come too far from where I started from.
Oh,
nobody told me
that
the road would be easy. I don't believe he brought me this far.
I don't believe
he brought me this far.
God would leave us now.
Believe he brought me this far.
Brought me all the way.
He brought me this far.
Brought me with tears in my eyes.
He brought me this.
He brought me when burdens got heavy.
He brought me this.
The storms of life.
But we have some breaking news from just moments ago. The Congressional Black Caucus is largely behind Biden. This according to two sources who told NBC that at least two members of the CBC were on the call this afternoon, Representative Maxine Waters and Representative Barbara Lee, and both members defended Biden forcefully, as Representative Waters did here in essence, as they publicly done this since the debate. What is your reaction? We're out of time, but I wanted your brief reaction to that.
Well, I'll be very terse. I have spoken to Congresswoman Waters. She is the ranking member on the committee on which I serve. I'm on that committee because she put me on the committee, to be quite candid with you. And she is adamantly supportive of President Biden.
This election is no longer about the old guy that's in the White House now. Like, you know, all the op-ed pages and the New York Times can run around and opine about, you know, what Joe Biden should do. And, you know, y'all have fun with that. Enjoy yourselves, intellectual thought leaders. I no longer care. Doesn't matter to me anymore. It's above me now. It's above me now. There's a Waffle House next door. There's a Best Western next door as well. It's above me now. It's above Joe Biden now. Don't care about Joe Biden's age, infirmity, that he shuffled when he walked. I don't care. He could be seated for the rest of from now to election day and never get up off a chair. He could sit down. He could roll around in a wheelchair. He could be on a skateboard, seated. I don't care.
You each were, you asked 4 questions, and maybe that's what you were allowed to ask by the campaign or the White House. But they were essentially the same questions, both interviews, about accomplishments, progress in your respective state, what's at stake in the election, what he has to say about his debate performance, and what he would say to voters who think their vote doesn't matter or might sit this election out. Were those questions given to you by the White House, or did you have, or the campaign, or did you have to submit questions ahead of this interview?
The questions were sent to me for approval. I approved them.
Okay, so the White House sent the questions to you ahead of the interview?
Yes.
Okay.
I got several questions, 8 of them, and the 4 that were chosen were the ones that I approved.
Okay. And the reason I ask is not a criticism of either of you. It's just that if the White House is trying now to prove the vim, vigor, acuity of the president, I don't know how they do that by sending questions first before the interview so that the president knows what's coming.
Well, you know that mean old devil named Trump. I won't be voting for him because he's old, crinkly and white. Oh, snap, that sounds like Biden.
Someone came to you and said, as a delegate, I want you to consider an open convention. You say what to them?
Absolutely not. I became a delegate. You have to announce who you support when you decide to be a delegate. I said Joe Biden. It was Joe Biden that day, and it's Joe Biden today, and it will be Joe Biden in August.
NEA delegates, we can do this work. We must do this work. We get to do this work. We will do this work because our students are depending on us to win all the things. NEA, we have to win all the things, all the things, all the things. Our colleagues are depending on us to win all the things. Keep going. fighting NEA to preserve our democracy. We must win all the things. Delegates, we won't go back. We will keep going forward because we are the NEA. We are the NEA. We are the NEA. And that's what we do.